Meeting and appreciate that documents have been sent in on time. And I trust that members have been able to go through them because we will take those as read and not spend much time on them unnecessarily. I would also like to inform members that Mr. Andrew Mbanga, who has been one of the NA table staff, has taken his retirement in December, and he's no more going to be part of the NA table, and we wish him well in his retirement. I thought that was important for me to inform members. Honorable members, I would like to start the meeting by asking our NA secretary to tell us if there are any apologies, or maybe members if there are apologies that they may not have sent earlier, but they would like to table now.
Good morning, Madam Speaker and honorable members. We have an apology from Honorable Gwangwa. He is unable to attend today. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any? Honorable Hlangwini?
Morning, Honorable Speaker, and morning members and staff members, and all the best to Mr. Mbanga. We had a good and working relationship with him. All the best with his new retirement and endeavor. I'd like to please note the apology of our Chief Whip. She might join us late. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hlangwini. Any other apology? I don't see any hand. We can now proceed to the consideration of the agenda. Agenda has been tabled before you. Can I get any mover for the adoption of our agenda? Honorable Reddy?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to move for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we get a second now?
Yes, Speaker. I second Member Dugmore. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Member Dugmore. We'll now go straight to the committee section for the committee section's report.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, Honorable members. Compliments of the season. Give me just a few seconds to flag the presentation. Can I receive confirmation on whether the presentation is flagged on the screen?
It's just starting now, Natalie.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and Honorable members, thank you for the opportunity. The report reflects all progress that we made since November 2025 when we last had our NAPC meeting, so there's therefore substantial updates. The report reflects on the 30 bills that is before committees, 8 statutory appointments and 12 petitions. I've added slides on the lists and summaries of the executive members' bills as well as the private members' bills, just so that it can be congruent with the legislation report that's normally presented by the Bills Office. Our first highlight is on slide 4, with the Constitution 23rd Amendment Bill that has been placed on the National Assembly order paper for first reading. We then go to slide 10, which indicates that the Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill, there's progress there, with the responses by the department having been given on the 4th of February. I just want to minimize the screen, sorry. Deliberations are scheduled for February and March respectively, as indicated on those dates, and the briefing by the Parliamentary Legal Advisor is scheduled for 25th of March, with the estimated aim to finish date being the 27th of March 2026. We move to slide 11, which is related to the marriage bill. Currently, there are public hearings underway in Limpopo, and those public hearings will conclude this week. The intention is to finish with this bill early in 2026. We move to slide 12, which consists of the Electoral Commission Bill. The committee will deliberate on the motion of desirability of this bill on the second term of Parliament. Slide 15 then highlights progress related to the Liquor Amendment Bill. There we have the briefing by the member in the department that took place on the 28th of November last year. And we also have the briefing by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture scheduled for the 27th of February this year. The aim to finish date is the second term, Honorable Speaker and Chair. We move to slide 23, which then highlights progress on the Adjustment Appropriation Bill. This bill was submitted for assent and it's proposed as Act 2 of 2026. On slide 24, the same progress. Tax Administration Laws Amendment Bill and Taxation Laws Amendment Bill on slide 24. For these two bills, the bills are now before the Select Committee on Finance. Then when we go to slide 26, related to the Marine Oil Pollution Preparedness Bill, here we have seen that it has been submitted for assent as well, and it's proposed as Act 8 of 2025. Slide 29 reflects progress on the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from Unlawful Occupation and Land Amendment Bill. Here we have scheduled the consideration of the motion of desirability on the 18th of February, and that is also the aim to finish date. Slide 30 briefs us on the sorry, that's a duplication. Apologies, members. If we then move to statutory appointments, which is where we have our next updates, we find our first update in terms of that on slide 37, which links to the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. The interviews are taking place this week, and the deliberations and the adoption of that committee report is scheduled for the 17th of February, 2026. Our next update is on slide 40, which relates to the Aviation Safety Investigation Board appointments. Interviews for this is set for the 20th and the 21st of February 2026, noting that the 21st is a Saturday. On the same slide still, in terms of the Transport Economic Council, interviews for these vacancies are scheduled for the 6th to the 8th of March 2026. Then in terms of the Commission on Gender Equality, as indicated on slide 41, the advertisements started running on the 1st of December and concluded on the 1st of February 2026, and the shortlisting is scheduled for the 3rd of March 2026. In terms of petitions, our first update relates to the petition from Dr. J.P. Groenewald on behalf of Barend Johannes van Zyl. The status there is that the briefing with the petitioner is scheduled for the 17th of March, so we foresee that this issue will be resolved by the second term. Then for the petition on Mr. G.A. Werner on behalf of the community of Heidedal in Bloemfontein, the report is scheduled to be adopted on the 17th of February 2026. The petition related to the upgrading of Slowwell Park Informal Settlement. Here we have a follow-up update on the implementation of recommendations, which is due to take place on the 18th of February. The petition related to the Amadiba community, currently its consideration is taking place on the way forward regarding the petition submitted by Ms. N. Maputuma on behalf of that community, and the National Assembly investigates concerns related to the N212 into Wild Coast Toll Highway project, and that is scheduled for the 17th of February. It's likely that this matter could be settled by the first term of this year. Honorable Speaker, then for the very last update in terms of the work before committees, the bills, petitions, and other matters. On the petition of Mr. M.J. Cuthbert on behalf of residents of Davidton, here we see the consideration and adoption of the report on the petition submitted scheduled for the 17th of February, and we foresee that this matter will be concluded by the end of February 2026. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Natalia, for that report. We will take the report from the Bills Office and then we'll have a discussion thereafter.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, we will have two reports today from Legal Services. As soon as I finish my report, with your permission, can Ms. van der Merwe also do the report on Constitutional Court judgments? So I concur that currently we have 30 bills before NA committees. Of the 30 bills, 16 are executive bills and 14 are private members' bills. On slide number 2, we are indicating the National Water Amendment Bill, B1 of 2026, a proposed Section 75 bill that was introduced on the 21st of January 2026. The bill was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation. The next reporting slide is slide number 7. Thank you. On slide number 7, Honorable Speaker, we've got 5 draft bills that are before Parliament, certified by the state law advisors and being prepared to be introduced. We have the gas bill, which is the first one on the list. This bill was part of the 2025 legislative program as a priority bill to be introduced in Parliament. It has been certified and we are preparing it for introduction. And the second one is the South African National Petroleum Company Bill. We are also preparing the draft to be introduced as soon as it is ready. The next reporting slide is slide number 8. Thank you. On slide number 8, we are just indicating the bills that were submitted for assent to the President. And now the number of bills that are with the Presidency for assent, it's now 8. I will hand over to Ms. van der Merwe. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Good morning. Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, Speaker. Good morning to the members. I would just like to alert members that with this presentation, there was also a report circulated. That report has more information. What we will report on would only be matters where there was progress, new matters, or matters where there was progress in respect of matters where there will be a gap in the law. So we have a new matter, the matter of Wares versus Additional Magistrate Simonstown. This matter is now brand new. The order will lapse 22 December 2027. We have submitted a legal opinion to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, and we have also inquired from the Department of Justice what their plans would be to address this judgment. If we go to the next slide, there I will be reporting on progress made on matters. In respect of the matter of Van Wyk, dealing with labour laws, we've inquired from the Department of Labour what their plans are. This is also a relatively new matter, but we have not heard anything from the Department of Labour in respect of what their plans would be, not to our office or to the committee. The next matter deals with defence bills, the matter of O'Brien. Here, 2 bills have already been introduced, and the Portfolio Committee on Defence and Military Veterans is in fact busy with it. They've scheduled the house number with this. They've scheduled in this quarter to deliberate on the bills. The next slide, please. The Traditional Khoisan Leadership Act, the matter of Mohale. The Department of Cooperative Affairs confirmed with us that now, very recently in this week, in fact, they've confirmed that Cabinet has approved the submission of the bill to Parliament. That happened already in November last year. And then 29 November, the Minister also complied with Joint Rule 201, and they are just waiting for certification from the Office of the Chief State Law Advisor and the translations of the bill. The last matter is the Marriage Act, dealing with the Women's Legal Centre. Here, the order lapses on 27 June. The bill is before the Portfolio Committee, and the Portfolio Committee has been doing quite a lot of work on the bill. But it is an extensive bill, and we have, accordingly, in discussion with the chairperson of the committee, started a process to apply for further extension of the suspended order. We've received permission, political permission to do so, and the State Attorney has been briefed, and counsel will be appointed and briefed soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Advocate van der Merwe and the team for the presentation on the current legislation that is before Parliament and those that have already been sent to the President for assent. I now open for discussion. I've noted Honorable Mkhaliphi. Are there any other hands? Honorable Mkhaliphi, you can start.
Good morning, Speaker. Compliments of the season. Good morning, colleagues. All the best to Babu Mbanga. I concur with my colleague, Honorable Ntlangwini, to say that we work very well with Babu Mbanga. Ngebhadi ke akavalelisanga Speaker sesizwa today, but we wish him well. Speaker, I would like to make a follow-up on the bills, private members' bill that was introduced by EFF before. I don't see the progress, especially the one that seeks to amend the Electoral Act of 1998, whereby when you reach 16, you must be automatically registered to vote. We just have to get an update on that one. And all other bills, such as student debt bill that was introduced a long time ago, and Reserve Bank, and all other bills, Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Dagmar.
Thanks very much, Chair. Greetings once again to members. I would just like to ask whether there is any information from the side of Parliament, Legal Services, in regard to the Expropriation Act. I understand that there is litigation brought against the Act by, I think it's the Democratic Alliance. And I just wanted to establish whether Parliament has any role or any involvement in that particular litigation regarding the Expropriation Act. I'm not sure if there is information available now, if not possibly by the next meeting, or whether it's simply just the department or the state directly defending that litigation. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy, followed by Honorable Ntlangwini. Honorable Reddy, you had your hand up.
Good morning, Speaker. Am I audible? Greetings to you and as well as members, and also our best wishes go out to Mr. Mbanga, who, like previous speakers have indicated, has proven to be an exceptional official within serving members in this term. Speaker, I want to follow up from the point raised by Honorable Kalipi. Perhaps what we need is at our next meeting a composite report of all recommendations and bills that have been submitted by political parties and a status of where they are sitting. I know as MK Party, we too have submitted various reports for consideration, and we'd just like to know what the status is of that. I think it will serve a good purpose if at the next meeting we have a list, I beg your pardon, of all these submissions and the status of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ntlangwini.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I just want to check on the petition. There was a petition that was submitted by the people living with disabilities in, I think, November, December last year. And I don't see it on the list. And that petition is one that is very important. And it talks to the accessibility of public transport for people living with disabilities. So can we just check where is that a petition so that it doesn't fall through the cracks? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. I would ask the team, committee section and bills, if you can respond on some of the issues raised by members. If you do not have some of the answers today, we can actually prioritize that for next week. I've seen that there's one slide that indicates bills before portfolio committees from private members bill. There are 14, but I'm not sure whether the status of where in the committees those matters might be. But I will ask the team to respond.
Thank you, Speaker. If I may respond, I think most of the questions are for legal. If I may just comment on private members' bills progress. So once a bill has been introduced, that will be reported on by the committee section, and it does in fact form part of their presentation to the National Assembly Programming Committee. And of course, that slide that is presented by Ms. Borchert is actually quite detailed, telling what is happening on the bill, where is the next meeting, so what's the time frame planned for finalization. So that is in fact being done. It's perhaps just mixed up between the executive bills and possible committee bills. Bills that have not yet been introduced, I would with respect, be reluctant to report on that in this forum. Some members do regard the content of their bills as quite sensitive up to a certain stage where they are willing to publish that there is an intention to introduce. But our office has a dedicated email. It's legislativedrafting@parliament.gov.za, and members are welcome to send any queries on where a bill they've requested assistance with drafting on, where that is at the moment. What I can confirm is that from the EFF, there are 3 bills that are before committees: the Reserve Bank Bill, the Liquor Bill, and the Insourcing Bill. I'm aware that Insourcing has scheduled a briefing by the member. I'm not aware where the committees are in respect of liquor. Reserve Bank, I know that there were requests for certain studies to be done. So that will have to be, we'll have to look at the report from the committees section itself. In respect of the electoral amendment bill, I am in contact with Dr. Gumani Tumamola, and he has in fact sent further instructions yesterday. So I'm dealing with that bill in consultation with the EFF. In respect of the question on the Expropriation Act, yes, there is litigation. There are in fact 2 cases that have been combined in the Western Cape, and Parliament is very active on both cases, and we are the cases are in fact proceeding. I think in this week there were hearings on certain of the amicus applications. So the matter is proceeding, and Parliament is definitely not just keeping an eye, but an active participant in both of those cases. Then just in respect of the request by Mr. Reddy, the same answer applies. The bills members' bills that have been introduced are reported on through the committee's presentation, and in respect of bills that have not yet been introduced, I would really invite members to contact us on that email, legislativedrafting@parliament.gov.za, to inquire as to the status of a bill. But I can confirm with members that we are regularly in touch with members where we are assisting them on a bill, and the member who is giving us instruction is definitely aware of what the status is of each bill. Thank you, Speaker. I cannot answer on the petition. Sorry, the petition I'll maybe give over to Ms. Borchert to answer. Thank you.
And Natalia, can you report on the petition?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If I may first start with the 2 bills, specifically that's contained in the report that I've presented. On the Electoral Commission bill, there is progress indicating that it should be concluded by the 2nd term. The specific aspect that I've mentioned here is that the committee will deliberate on the motion of desirability. on that bill in the second term of Parliament. And then also on the liquor bill, Honorable Speaker, the briefing took place on the 28th of November, and the briefing of the department is scheduled for the 27th of February. Chairperson, I must acknowledge that the petition mentioned by the Honorable Member as it relates to persons with disabilities is not included in our report. I will find the facts regarding that, and I will surely ensure that we give detailed reports on that specific petition at the next engagement. We also take note of Honorable Reddy's request for a fully fledged report on private members' bill. We will action that and it will be ready by the next program committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Natalia and Advocate Charmaine. I will propose that maybe in the committee report, Natalia, just to ensure that we help members, our report, we must indicate where it's a private member's bill and where it's a executive bill, so that members, as they read the report, they can follow up. But we must also take into consideration what Advocate Charmaine has just said about how some of the members feel about the sensitivity on the information on the bills that they might still be dealing with that are not yet tabled. So I will ask us to respect that, so that, because it may not be the same for everyone, to have that information public as they are still dealing with the legal section on the bill itself. Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you for that response. It was quite comprehensive, and I think it's welcomed. However, I need to just get some clarity about this issue of sensitive information. We are members of Parliament, and this institution is an institution representing South Africans at large. I'm not sure what is it that's so sensitive that it cannot be tabled as a report. Perhaps, maybe not the details, but it is also important for us as members of different parties to know what is being submitted by other parties, so there's no duplication. We do not submit a similar bill when another party is submitting the same thing. Also, it's important for us to be able to know every bill submitted, whether it is private or executive bill, that these are captured. And the moment they're captured, it should be indicated on a schedule. And thereafter, we can look at progress from there. So it doesn't become a case where every meeting we come here asking, where's my bill, where's this bill, where's that bill? We'll have the schedule of bills with the progress that's attached to our minutes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Reddy. If you look on your pack, you've got a list of bills. One that are from private members' bill, one from the executive. And that's why I said in the committee's report, in the next committee report, members should just try next to the committee report which deals with bill to indicate this is a private member's bill and this is an executive bill. The issue of sensitivity, that relates to members. Remember, Honorable Reddy, that if I were to make an example, you are the one who pilots the bill. Before you can finalize the bill for it to be presented to the committee, you continuously engage on the drafting and whatever consultation you may want to do. You may not want that process be public before you have firmed up whether, in terms of legislation, this is now what you want to table. So that's the sensitivity, not because people are hiding anything, but is to give a member the comfort that he or she is able to engage without being put under pressure. And as Advocate Charmaine has indicated, members, those who, even if they are acting on behalf of their parties, they do engage with the legal office as they are doing this work. And we will appreciate that maybe when you have your caucuses where you know you have got bills and you have allocated different members to pilot that bill, you might just have to get a briefing where the status of the bill is, so that we also protect, your individual members and parties on what they might think sensitive at this stage. And once they have a comfort, obviously we will put it on the schedule that is made public to all members. And I saw your thumbs up appreciating the fact. Thank you very much. Now we move to the consideration of the parliamentary program. Honorable Darkmore, program has been circulated. Anything new?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Speaker. As you've indicated, the program has been circulated, so we don't need to spend too much time. But if we look at week 3, which is next week, just for members to note that and to convey to their parties and encourage participation is the members' training. It is virtual on Tuesday, the 10th, and Wednesday, the 11th of February, and a program around exactly the focus will be circulated, but that's important for members. We're all aware of the joint sitting where the President will deliver the State of the Nation at the City Hall. And then we know that in week 4, on Tuesday and Wednesday, at the Dome now, there will be the debate and the President's reply on the Thursday, the 19th, also at the Dome. If we look at week 5, we start getting into, I would say, what can be referred to as the normal business of Parliament. On Tuesday, a plenary. And obviously, members will be now back in the Dome, and for the plenary, and then we'll have the budget speech, which will be on the 25th of February, and a plenary again on the 26th. If we go to week 6, just only point for noting there, on Tuesday, the 3rd of March, a debate on international, I think it should be Mother Tongue Language Day, and we get into questions for oral reply that to cluster 1, peace and security, and you will also see we have the first mini plenary sessions for the year on Friday, the 6th of March. If we go to week 7, just to point out there, on Tuesday, the 10th of March, besides the statements and reports, we'll also have a debate on International Women's Day. Then Wednesday, the 11th, you will see there the oral reply questions to cluster 2. And then we have on the 12th of March, our President will be in the National Assembly answering questions in the plenary. And again, mini plenaries on Friday, the 13th of March. Week 8, it's all there before the members. But just to note that on the 19th of March, there'll be questions to the Deputy President and a debate on Human Rights Day. And then on week 9, we will then, on the 24th, deal with the consideration of the fiscal framework and revenue proposals. The program is clear there. We get to week 10, plenary on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we also deal with the Division of Revenue Bill and the second reading debate, which brings us to Good Friday. On the 3rd of April, we then break for a constituency period from the 7th to the 20th of April. And then just in conclusion, Speaker, I would like to also join those members in thanking Mr. Mbanga. I did, as programming whip, communicate a message which was read out at his farewell function. And I think it would be a good idea if the programming committee requested our speaker to formally convey thanks on behalf of all the members of the programming committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Darkmore. Honorable members, here is the program tabled for your consideration. Honorable Kalipi, followed by Honorable Nhlangwini.
Thanks, Speaker. I just want to check on the program, Speaker, the issue of the extension of the ad hoc committee on police, the investigation on the inquiry, in fact, on General Mkhwanazi, the extension of it, Speaker. I remember the last term, we extended it until, I think, December or January. So what is the new date now? Because they are still continuing and we don't know what is the arrangement. And also, Speaker, please take us into confidence. Why did you stop the subpoena of Paul Olsoven and Brian Makhotsi? Second, Speaker, on the issue of the programming in regards to the SONA. Yesterday, I tried to ask on the Chiefs Forum, but there was no answer coming in. We were told that the budget is 7 million, and we asked for breakdown for SONA, but no one was interested or no one have an appetite to explain to the public, because it can be that as a member of parliament, we don't know how much is SONA, and therefore what is the breakdown of 7 million in one day. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tlangwini.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I concur with the Honorable Kalipi. We'll have to find the new date for the ad hoc committee extension, and also in terms of witnesses that have to come and present in front of the ad hoc committee. I mean, in the ad hoc committee, there have been a list, and on those lists was people of interest that were having top priority or was top priority, which names were firstly mentioned. And it can't be this parliament and this platform that we find ways and means to exonerate these people from having or to testify in front of the ad hoc committee. Mine is just also on to check on the budget speech. I see we don't have venues throughout Mr. Jagmo from the 18th of February or the 19th of February. I take it that we will be full on in the dome. If so, it must be effective on the program, so that we don't find ourselves tomorrow when it's the budget and say no, we have to move back to City Hall because the dome is not suitable. Because there's been conflicting letters and publications out in the media by the Minister of Public Works. We were to have given over to Parliament the dome on the 30th of January. We have heard yesterday in the Chiefs Forum the dome will be given over Friday tomorrow to Parliament. Maybe perhaps the Speaker can also take us into confidence. When is the dome truly and truthfully going to be handed over to Parliament? And then on the last issue, Speaker, there have been a norm on Parliament media. Maybe perhaps we also need to summon them to get a report on parliamentary media and how it's being utilized. There are committees that are sitting and doing committee work full blown since we have been opening. But you will never see some of their work being posted. But it's only one committee or two committees that is forever. Every day when we're opening our Twitters or platforms, their faces are there. So we can't have a situation where our parliamentary media team only post work of one committee and other committees are not covered. There must be a fair translation of all committees' work that are being covered, oversight work that are being covered. And then the last point as well, interviews within the committee. In the past, when there are media in the committees, all members used to get platform. Media used to get and say, no, let's hear the view of the EFF, let's hear the view of the DA, let's hear the view of the ANC, like that. Now it would seem there's a new norm amongst chairpersons. They want to be the only ones addressing the media. And that can't be allowed. We are the parliament of the people, and we are all representing our constituencies. So there must be a report of media to say that all members of parliament deserve an equal coverage of the media that is there in parliament. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy, followed by Honorable Ntuli.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yesterday at the Chief Whips Forum, I think Honorable Kalipi was having issues with the connectivity, but they did tell us that the ad hoc committee is now extended. The term has been extended to the 20th of February. Also, that the dome will be handed over to Parliament tomorrow. Speaker, my question relates to the readiness of the dome. We've heard before where we were told that the dome was ready, and when we got into the dome, we found a whole lot of issues. It was not safe, the acoustics was terrible. Now, I'm hoping that tomorrow's handover will be an opportunity where political parties can at least go and check. There has to be some kind of a test run to be certain that the dome is actually ready. You know what really happens here? At some point, I'm not sure if this is the right forum to do it, but we need to find out exactly how much of money has been spent in upgrading and getting the dome ready. And I can tell you it will run into millions. I'm certain about that. It seems to me we pump a lot of money into these parliamentary projects and we get very little in return. And unless we perform proper oversight on all the monies that's being spent, like the 7 million rands for SONA, for example, I'm afraid that somebody is going to be using public resources to benefit only their own pockets and not the interests of Parliament and the interests of the people of South Africa. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Ntuli. Honorable Ntuli, Chief Whip.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning to the Deputy Speaker and all honorable members, as well as the team from Parliament, and compliment for the new year. No, Speaker, I just want to weigh in on maybe on 3 issues. The first one is that we were very happy yesterday that we were provided with a confirmation of how much money is going to be used for the State of the Nation address, particularly because the money is more or less the same with what was used last year, which means that Parliament is managing its processes around the State of the Nation address very well. Of course, we were not given a breakdown per item, and the commitment that was made by your office was that that information can be made available at a later stage. But the mere fact that we are spending more or less the same as we did last year is a sign of a proper management of our finances. The second issue has to do with what has been attributed to you, Speaker, on a negative light. I had avoided making comments on this issue, but because it now arises in the meeting where I'm in attendance as a member of the ad hoc committee, I think it's an obligation for me to provide some light to it, rather than you being seen maybe to defend yourself or justify your own actions. In reality, honorable members, when we decided that we are going to subpoena 2 witnesses,
We are losing you, Honorable Ntuli. Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Mpapane. Honorable Mpapane.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good morning to you and colleagues. Compliments to everyone in the meeting. Honorable Speaker, I want to just weigh in on one matter, that one of the breakdown of the budget for SONA. I want to indicate to this meeting, Honorable Speaker, that we have a committee that is responsible to oversee Parliament, which is the Joint Standing Committee on Financial Management of Parliament.
So that breakdown will be done, that presentation will be done in that committee in Parliament. So I want honorable members to indicate to them that let's allow that committee to do its job. And the committee is represented by all the parties that are raising this matter in that committee. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Speaker, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, my apology for that. No, I wanted to comment. I was commenting on the issue relating to what has been publicized by certain quarters in the media, and I think I've heard one of my colleagues here commenting on it. Your intervention in relation to the work of the ad hoc committee around the subpoena of the two potential witnesses, Mr. Mkhosi and Mr. O'Sullivan. The fact of the matter, there, colleagues, is that we ourselves as an ad hoc committee had not adequately responded to the concerns raised by those two gentlemen, in which they were arguing why they should not appear before the ad hoc committee. So when the speaker was intervening, essentially what she was saying, which was to guide us, which I think is her responsibility as our senior leader in the institution, was to guide us that before you conclude that these people must be subpoenaed in a way that you want to do, you've got to make sure that you have adhered to the following processes. You have dealt with their concerns, addressed them one by one, not just a global response that we don't agree with you and we have authority as parliament, you must come and appear before us. So it is really not what one has been observing reported in the media, that there is a clash between the speaker and the ad hoc committee. It's the ad hoc committee that must effectively discharge its responsibilities in line with the guidance provided by the speaker, which is consistent with the law. I thought it's important for me to clarify that, because as I was following developments a day or 2 days ago on this matter, I felt that some people are even commenting without having read the letter from the chair of the ad hoc committee, and let alone the letter from the speaker, and they're just weighing in on the basis of what is sensational and headline. The other issue I wanted to comment, my last one, the speaker, is the one about the chairs of committees, portfolio committee chairpersons, and the Monday engagement with the media. I don't know if I've heard Honorable Ntlangwini very well. If I did not, I would be forgiven for what I would say. My own understanding was that that platform was created in order for Parliament to communicate its work. Obviously, in this case, through the portfolio committees, which must be represented by their chairpersons. And my own expectation would be that when those chairpersons discharge that responsibility, do so on behalf of portfolio committees rather than the political parties where they come from. Because I would imagine that it would be problematic for all of us if a chairperson of a portfolio committee goes into a press briefing on Monday and simply talk about his or her own work as a member of the ANC or any other political party. Then we would all be concerned if that happens. But if the chairperson of the committee addresses the platform or the media in Parliament on behalf of the portfolio committee and focuses on the work of his or her own committee as understood by members of the respective committees, I think we should be comfortable with that, because I think, having observed and followed some of those public engagements, I found them to be very useful in terms of enhancing the interaction between Parliament and the people of South Africa, which is their own parliament, and they deserve to know on a regular basis what are the issues on the agenda, what solutions are being sought out to resolve the challenges that they're confronted with. I wanted to make that point, Speaker. But if I misunderstood what Honorable Ntlangwini was saying in relation to what they should be doing, those chairpersons, like I said earlier on, I should be forgiven. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Mkhaliphi.
Speaker, just the one clarity after Honorable Chief Whip of the ANC spoke about the issues, and in fact, Honorable Reddy, yes, indeed, yesterday I had a problem of network where I was because of electricity, and the extension of our committee is in February. We are in February now, Speaker, and there are those issues that Honorable Ntuli spoke about. regards to the issue of subpoenas. So are we realistic in terms of the extension of the other committee? Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tlangwini.
Thank you, Chair. I think there were two issues here pertaining to the media issue that I was dealing with. There are media that Parliament are calling and they give to the chairs to go and address on committee work, and they do it in those things of a security cluster goes this week, social cluster goes that week, and challenging. That one, it's fine. It's in an agreement. We are in agreement with they are executing their mandate as chairpersons of those committees and clusters. Then there's one that when we are having our committees, when we are sitting down, in previous years, even last year, it used to happen that when media comes, or even Parliament's media comes, and they want to get members' views, they will get each and every member's view. They will even be liaised with Parliament media. But now it's only the chairperson that speaks, and that is wrong. All members of Parliament ought to get a platform and ought to get equal media coverage. Then it means then media is only for chairpersons. Then it's not media for the committee. Then it's not media for members of Parliament. Then I address the second issue to say there are committees that are forever being screened, and other committees are not having screen time. I can tell you many a times that we were having committee meetings and having pertinent issues that members of the community have brought to our committee, but those things are not being put out there on either Parliament channel or either even Twitter or Lando of Parliament, Facebook of Parliament. I'm just pleading, let all committees be treated equally, not tomorrow. This will go against viewership of committees, and you will get a chairperson that will say, no, I have most views here. Because why? It's getting prioritized by the media section of Parliament. We ought to correct such discrepancies now before later on it goes into something else. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Dagmar.
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, just in regard to this issue that's been raised about the media, I think it has previously been raised and discussed also at the Forum of Chairpersons, which Honorable Froelich normally convenes. And I think it's important there because it's that this issue is dealt with there amongst the chairs, issues of venues, live broadcasting of sessions. But I don't have a sense that Parliament as Parliament, in terms of their regular briefings, where they give, the chairpersons of portfolio committees an opportunity to address the media as clusters, in any way is that there's something problematic with that. I think it's correct that the chairs are focused, but the issue that the honourable member is raising about live broadcasts and so on, I want to propose that that issue is taken up by the meeting where all the chairs meet, and that parliamentary communications should be invited to that meeting where there can be a dedicated discussion on the matter. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dagmar, and thanks to all the members for having engaged with the report. And appreciate that we now have a sense of our program, and the request that has been made to the programming committee is to ensure that we have different venues, articulated where those have not been articulated. On an issue that has been raised by Honorable Tlangwini with regards to the budget, we've received yesterday a letter from the Minister of Finance requesting that he table his budget in the City Hall. we have indicated to the minister that as Parliament, our budget is a shoestring. We may not be able to do so unless, as Treasury, they might have the resources to ensure that that venue is secured. So there's still the discussion between ourselves and the Minister of Finance. Honourable members, there's an issue that has been raised on the media, and I agree that we will need to attend to that matter with the chairperson, House chairperson of committees, to look at how the rotation can happen amongst committee sittings so that all committees have a chance of being in the live broadcast room. Because as we had indicated earlier, that we've tried as best as we could to put broadcast on those venues that are in the precinct, but appreciating that some of the venues that we are renting, we may not be able to put that kind of infrastructure. So it is important, though, that that rotation of committees is done in a manner that it allows all committees to have an opportunity of a live broadcast. Secondly, the issue on the engagement of media, even if it means facilitating that for all parties, as has been raised, it's important. We are indeed going to ensure that the team from communication is actually advised. But where it relates to Parliament's media, like our Parliament TV, we are going to also send a communication that when they invite their guests, on the work of Parliament, it's important to ensure that all parties have an opportunity to be interviewed by that parliamentary media, our TV. So that we will take forward, honorable members. I just want to raise something, honorable members, that it is important that we do respect the different roles of different committees so that we avoid the overlap. Ours is to deal with the programming issues. But I think where there are specific issues that are supposed to be dealt with in terms of governance by other structures, we need to respect that. The Chief Whips Forum has a responsibility that is particular where they do the consultations among parties, and they also inform the work of the programming committees, for instance. Most of the programming decisions or items would have gone through a consultation in the Chief Whips Forum, and it is our structure as Parliament that we also must respect. With regard to the Joint Standing Committee on Financial Management of Parliament, that is the structure where we deal with the management of the resources of Parliament. And I do think that let's respect our members of parties, because we do all have representation in that structure, so that we avoid, again, making a programming committee a super committee that now must actually deal with the work of others. So on the issue of the budget, we will indeed ensure that for the Joint Standing Committee on Financial Management of Parliament, that breakdown of what the SONA budget would include, as well as the sponsorship, if there are any, what those sponsorships were, what is the value of that sponsorship, and so on, so that members, through their representative, will have sight on the detail of that budget. I also want to indicate that you would have seen that as the Speaker's office, I didn't respond to the media on the issues relating to the ad hoc committee. And that was a principled decision, because I responded to the request made by the committee. Assisted by legal services, I applied my mind, I gave guidance to the committee. The committee have deliberated on the matter and they've responded to me. And I don't think it will be correct that I then deal with the members of a committee that I've duly communicated with as per their mandate, to another structure of parliament. I don't think that would be ideal. At the moment, the committee and the Speaker's office are dealing with that matter. And the ad hoc committee, in terms of its work, are doing the matters of programming and how they are programming their witnesses, acknowledging once again the mandate that Parliament has given to them. And I think it's important that we go back to what was the mandate of Parliament to that committee and what it must respond to. And I will also want to say it is Parliament, not the Speaker's office, and members might have forgotten. The request for extension was tabled to the House in terms of the ATC. The motion was adopted by the House to say the work of the committee finishes on the 20th of February. So it wasn't the Speaker's office, it was the House, the National Assembly, that took that decision. And we must also remember that this committee is doing the work that was mandated by the House. And the House was very clear that the issue that the committee must address, it's whether the allegations that were made, are they authentic? And if so, what must be done about it? So I think it's important for all of us to go back to what was the mandate of the House. And that's what I've always tried to remind the committee itself, to say their mandate was very clear what it needed to do. And once they've done that, they must come back to Parliament, make recommendations of how, in the view of them as a committee having looked at all of these things, what guidance are they giving Parliament in terms of their recommendation on how these matters must be dealt with going forward. So I would request that we appreciate and wait for that committee to do its work. And also, where there are issues of guidance to the committee, those will be communicated to the committee itself. Thank you very much, honorable members. We now move to the consideration of minutes of the 27th November 2025, which was circulated. I take it that members have been able to read. Can I get comments on the minutes, whether they reflect the correct record? Honorable Reddy.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I don't want to do this. I know it's not good, but I just wanted to find out where would be the right platform to raise the issue of support staff for portfolio committees, and especially around their role, function, and to ensure consistency among different portfolio committees. I'm not sure if it's this committee that it needs to be raised.
You can raise it through the House chairperson responsible for committees, Honorable Frolic.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy. Honorable Cameron, are you moving for the adoption of the minutes?
No, yes, I am. And possibly, Speaker, just reminding Mr. Reddy that items on the agenda were already adopted, but thanks for your advice.
Honorable Cameron, I've responded to Honorable Reddy. Can we come to the minutes?
Yes, I'm moving adoption, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get the second?
Second, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Klaso, are there any matters arising? Thank you. Honorable members, we have received the matters arising and how those are being dealt with. Just to indicate that tomorrow, once we get certainty from Department of Public Works about the handover of the dome, we will communicate through the Chief Whip's office so that if there are members who may be willing to accompany the speaker so that we can have a collective handover, we are able to do so as it has been expressed by one of the members. Thank you very much, honored members. This brings us to the end of our meeting. Thank you. This concludes the meeting until next time.
Yes.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.
Ungafike